Welcome back to the table, friends. I'm your humble host, GreyDMs, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Owen.
That's me.
Today, we are going to be discussing something that is becoming more and more prevalent in all of our lives, the inclusion of the great AI overlord.
Great.
So AI is kind of something that I'm sure everybody's talking about these days, but it's something that kind of can't be ignored anymore.
Because it's being shoved down our throats.
Yeah, so there's a lot of probably fatigue already from it, but as with all technological advances, at some point in time, you have to struggle with this new addition into the world and how it fits and how to be okay with it.
I'm not okay with it, though.
Well, unless you can invent a time machine,
Yeah.
or you just have a DeLorean sitting around.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have to find a way to deal with it and have it positively affect your experience in your day-to-day life and your hobbies rather than negatively.
I feel like this is based on something. Like, did you recently do something that involved a lot of AI?
Maybe Microsoft came out with the jobs that are directly being affected by AI, and I saw that list and got a little sad.
Yeah.
But there are good things that are being done too. There are people in this world who actually give a crap about each other and who try to do good things, and we want to be part of those people. So let's talk about AI and how it's going to affect and how it's currently affecting the tabletop role-playing game community.
All right.
So tabletop role-playing games are inherently collaborative storytelling experiences, traditionally relying on human imagination, improvisation, and social interaction between a game master and players. For decades, the digital tools available to the TTRPG community primarily served as static resources, offering digitized rulebooks, character sheet templates, online dice rollers, or basic procedural generators to assist GMs. These early digital aids were useful but limited, often providing pre-written text chunks or simple random tables. The advent of artificial intelligence, particularly generative AI, makes a fundamental shift in this landscape, introducing new paradigms to this vulnerable hobby. Wow.
I mean, it really is because, you really think about it. You can create just about anything you want through AI for a game that you want to run.
Yeah, and the ability to adapt to the individual player is what sets apart video games from AI.
Yeah.
And when those lines get blurred, that there will be no difference eventually. So this dawn of AI in tabletop RPGs signifies a crucial transition from rudimentary aids to sophisticated generative models capable of producing coherent, contextual, and often novel content. This evolution is profound because it moves beyond merely assisting human creativity with predefined options to actively augmenting it by creating entirely new, context-aware material. The changing creative workflow allowed GMs to offload not just the busy work, but also aspects of ideation and iteration, enabling faster prototyping and exploration of ideas that were previously too time-consuming. This represents a deeper integration of technology into the creative core of TTRPGs, promising to automate laborious aspects, augment creative processes, and potentially reshape the very nature of TTRPG play.
It's like, I can agree with a lot of that. Like, there are some tedious things that you do, like, hey, I need an NPC with a stat block. Like, that's great. You can just give them a name, description, whatever. It needs to fit this setting. Go. Like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, there are many places where there's that struggle of every storyteller to determine how much to prepare. And a lot of that is where AI can really help.
Yeah.
Because if players are specifically diving down a weird place and they
the do not enter door, and they're like, yeah, that's definitely
the
where
cardboard stand-in door, and they're
right.
No, I want to get in a fight with this shopkeeper. And you're like, fine. Hey, AI, generally a stat sheet for the put a little zing on this guy.
Make this guy an ex-MMA boxer.
Yeah, just All right. So how can AI empower game masters and designers? AI is profoundly transforming the initial dreaming phase of TTRPG creation, automating many laborious aspects of world building while significantly enhancing the ideation process. GMs who once found the process of creating RPG settings overwhelming can now tackle challenges like developing maps, culture, and lore with unprecedented efficiency. AI tools are capable of generating detailed regions, complete with geography, resources, and social traits, making the entire world creation process faster and more comprehensive. These tools delve into intricate elements such as biomes, physical geography, cosmology, magical systems, religions, technology, economy, politics, history, mythology, races, cultures, and organizations.
Give me 5 more.
Hard no. A notable advantage of AI in this context is its ability to go beyond mere descriptions. It can identify natural tensions and conflicts within a newly generated region or world, thereby providing immediate narrative hooks for campaigns. This means that AI is not just creating a static backdrop, but actively contributing to the dynamic elements of storytelling, fostering a more integrated and story-driven world-building process. By significantly reducing the time and effort barriers associated with complex world building, AI makes sophisticated campaign design accessible to a much broader audience, including new or time-constrained GMs. This democratization could lead to an explosion in the quantity and diversity of TTRPG content, as more individuals can now realize their unique campaign visions without needing extensive prior experience or dedicated time.
So do we have a bar graph, though, that shows the increase of availability and usefulness to the new DM versus the quality that, the actual quality product that they're putting out?
Yeah, so we're going to get to that. AI tools are also instrumental in crafting nuanced non-player characters and fleshing out entire societies, including local customs and political structures. While consistently creating memorable NPCs can be challenging for GMs, AI character generators provide unique experiences, quirks, and meaningful interactions if they all want to be based off freaking characters from TV shows.
Yeah, that never happened, right?
Hey, what's the name of the 2 FBI guys who walked in the door? Oh, it's Agent Scully and Agent Mold.
Oh no.
The Bones one was bad because I hadn't watched it, so they're like, yeah, that's a dude from Bones.
Yeah, that was funny because same with me. I didn't watch it, but you said the names and certain people were looking at you like, what?
So you'd slipped in. Platforms like Lit RPG Adventures offer D&D character backstory generators, AI-generated RPG character avatars, and fantasy name generators alongside detailed cleric backstory ideas and high-quality D&D backstory examples. A significant leap in this area comes from tools like InWorld's AI Character Engine, which allows users to create AI RPG characters by describing personality traits and brief descriptions, enabling direct conversation via keyboard and microphone. This transforms NPCs from static descriptions or pre-scripted dialogue trees into dynamic, responsive entities. The ability for players to spontaneously interact with and influence NPCs in real time significantly enhances immersion, making the game world feel more alive and responsive and deepening player engagement beyond mere plot progression. This engine can even auto-generate a complete character from just a few words, making it possible to add new characters mid-game session.
Yeah, that is some convenience.
Well, how many times you're like, okay, yeah, so who are these particular 2 guards on the east side of the palace during the noon shift?
Well, it's like with us, we've had so many campaigns where it's the Decided family. They're all named to be and last name Decided.
Decided. Filled in later.
Filled in later. Yeah.
Beyond world and character, AI rapidly creates immersive quests, monsters, spells, and entire adventures. Tools like Lit RPG Adventures offers quest generators, dungeon generators, including procedural generation and generative AI for hex world builders, and magic items and spell generators. Character Gen provides AI shop generators, AI tavern generators, complete with engaging atmosphere and story hooks, and AI loot generators. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It offers AI encounter generators, including monster generation, and AI dungeon generators for intricate layouts and battle maps. Dungeon Alchemist stands out as a primary example of an AI map generator capable of quickly creating fully 3D rendered dungeons.
But again, how good is it?
Yeah, that's part of the question here. This capability represents a shift from static pre-written modules to dynamic content generation. Unlike traditional modules that can struggle with unexpected player choices, AI dungeon masters can quickly generate new adventures and ensure every choice you make shapes the narrative in real time. This dynamic generation means GMs can pilot more easily in response to player actions, creating a more fluid and response narrative and reducing the need for extensive pre-session preparation. The market for AI-powered TTRPG tools is diverse and rapidly evolving, often leveraging advanced AI models like GPT-4o and DALL-E 3. Lit RPG adventures, for example, boast over 3 dozen AI RPG generators and expansive content library of over 250,000 RPG elements.
Wow.
Supporting popular systems like D&D 5th Edition, Pathfinder 2, 2nd Edition, OSR, Fate, and Homebrew systems. User feedback for Lit RPG adventures is mixed, some finding the genre immature, but acknowledge improving quality, while others praise its utility for world building and content generation. CardGen offers a comprehensive suite of generators for characters, monsters, items, landscapes, battle mats, shops, taverns, loot, and encounters. It is lauded for its ease of use, high-quality AI-generated art, and advanced editing features like face swapping and in-painting, with users noting its ability to enrich campaigns and simplify GM prep. Dungeon Alchemist is highly effective for rapid 3D map creation. In-World AI, which praised for creating believable NPCs with unique personalities, can present an overwhelming array of possibilities for some users due to its broad capabilities. The proliferation of these specialized AI tools, from 3D map generation to interactive NPCs and specific art styles, indicates a market which is rapidly specializing. While benefits like efficiency and creative augmentation are clear, user experience also point to content that can be rough around the edges or generate bland and generic responses, sometimes requiring user intervention for proper setup. This suggests that while the tools are maturing, and the polished and seamless integration of AI-generated content into complex TTRPG systems are ongoing development areas, highlighting the gap between AI's potential and its practical implementation. So Dungeon Alchemist is actually really cool. I know they're leaning on it pretty heavily, but specifically it is a battle map generator, not really a dungeon generator.
Yeah.
So it's the one a while ago, when I got the first Kickstarter version of it that they released, we had a whole game, and like you guys got into a fight in, it was like a manor or something, because our barbarian was joined us, and I was like, oh man, I think you were running it. Maybe you were running it, and we were like, we need a map for this. You're like, well, I don't have anything. So I went on there and I just basically drew the size and was like, generate. That's where she cracked the term. She was just like, step 1, draw a circle, step draw the whole fucking owl.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Because I was just like, here, use this. I'm like, what? And the thing is like AI, where it is 80% magic.
Yeah.
And just like magic, when you get past the 80%, you're like, same assets over and over again.
Yeah. There's
no reason why they're placed where they're placed. But it is really super useful.
This is some non-Euclidean geometry that we're working with here.
Puts a chair facing the corner, But it's really cool for situations in which, like, your players do decide to pick a fight in a situation in which they have a pre-made, like, script for it, a pre-made setting.
Right.
Because it's so easy to be like, I need 3 rooms, boom, 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 boom. Here. This is more than enough to facilitate immersion in this specific instance so the players can continue going on. It's not, design everything for me. The other thing is we often did a few times where we did a generated dungeon. And those were some of the ones where you're like, everybody's just like, okay, I'm getting lost here. Like, turn left 5 times.
Yeah.
Now we're in something that's not connected to something else.
Yep.
And you're like, there is a certain old school appeal to that, because they essentially did that with pen and paper previously. But once again, especially our little report here is understating how disconnected those things can be.
Yep.
And how they're not really themed like you'd happen if a person put it together. So like there's still a way to go in a lot of.
Well, I mean, if your DM is really on the ball, it's just like, all right, you take a left. Okay, the passage leads to the left. All right, the next corner goes left. And then the corner after that goes left. And it's just like, wait, so we just went in a straight line? No, you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We're not back where we started? No, you're not.
It's an endless, weird, twisted pocket dimension. What is this place? It's the Mega Dungeons, my jam. All right. So what else could AI tools be used for in our hobby, right? So AI tools are increasingly designed to streamline the administrative burden on GMs, allowing them to focus on storytelling rather than the tedious note-taking and tracking. AI can function as a behind-the-scenes co-GM, providing smart assistance through automated data collection, real-time organization, and intelligent categorization. Platforms like Archivist AI offer automatic session summaries, searchable campaign knowledge bases, and effortless tracking of named NPCs and current locations.
So how is this all uploaded, though? Is this you're typing everything into the prompt saying, hey, this is what we found, this is who we talked to, this is the situation that happened, this is the conversation we had?
I think that pulls from video.
Oh.
That's I think it has to pull from, because it specifically says through automatic session summaries and stuff like that. So and there's it needs to pull from some source. And they have plenty of voice to text now.
Oh, yeah,
and that's where I think this is really interesting. Is just like, okay,
I'd like to try that.
Yeah, get me the transcript of the last game.
Yeah,
let's pull the things from it really quick, so I don't have to spend the time sorting through, because that's not a creative endeavor. That's upkeep.
Plus, everybody that's in the group can read that transcript and be like, "Oh, okay, yeah,"
and then just kind of like dump that to this kind of wiki that keeps evolving, so that when people are like, "Wait a second, what was that dude in that place that we found?"
Mm-hmm.
So by automating tasks like note-taking, lore recall, initiative tracking, and complex combat calculations, AI significantly reduces the GM's cognitive load related to mechanics. This frees the GM to dedicate more mental energy and attention to improvisation, character interaction, dynamic narrative adjustments, and fostering the emotional engagement of the players, potentially leading to higher quality, more fluid, and less stressful GMing. Amen.
I get that, but at the same time, like, this is going to sound so like boomer, but it's like you're making the new DMs weak.
Back in my day, you had to have 4 arms. You had to get practice by we take you out back and give you a bunch of cats to herd.
But it's like, I feel like it's a slippery slope. It's just like, okay, I don't have to keep track of the lore anymore. Okay, I don't have to keep track of the people anymore. Okay, I don't need to keep track of the story anymore. Okay, I don't need to keep track of the big bad evil guy anymore. Like, and eventually it just becomes, hey, write a story, and then I just read it.
I know, but then again, well, we'll talk more about opinions a little later. Combat management tools in particular leverage AI to automate initiative rolls, track status conditions, calculate damage, manage death saves, and track spell slots and concentration checks. That's cool.
Yeah.
Fantasy Grounds Combat Tracker, for instance, automates effects and streamlines combat, handling turn order, saving throws, and complex damage calculations with precision. You get to the point where you're just basically running the Neverwinter Nights engine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Well, and once again, that's something we talked about with like the VR thing, is somewhere down the road of being in person, and then someone's like, hey, I want to attack this guy. And you're like, that's cool. So now do something that's fun, like swing your sword around a little bit, but let the system do all the math in like a predictable, well thought out way. And that gives us the result.
So it all just feels like, again, this is going to date myself again, but it's just like, it kind of feels like playing a MUD.
Yeah. Well, isn't that what like the goal is? That the world that reacts to you instead of just a pre-scripted quest?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, like I said, we can do a summary later on. AI Dungeon Masters offers limitless story potential by adapting narrative based on player choices, ensuring every adventure feels unique and tailor-made. Quests and story arcs can evolve dynamically based on player decisions, ensuring each session is unique. AI models can synthesize narrative possibilities from countless sources, seemingly integrated unexpected player choices into the ongoing story, a task that can significantly challenge human GMs. Advanced AI systems can observe player engagement and adjust storylines on the fly, suggesting quests that match previous choices, fine-tuning NPC expressions, or transforming environmental settings in real time. This represents a move from the GM guiding players along a pre-authored path to a system where the narrative emerges directly from player decisions and AI real-time generation. This fosters a deep sense of player agency and offers potential infinite replayability as player actions truly shape every twist, turn, and outcome. That is a great idea.
Yeah.
Someday, soon, we need to find one of these, like, on these AI dungeon masters, especially if it allows a party, and we need to put it through the ringer.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be a fun thing to share with our listeners, right?
Yeah.
Come sit at the table as we freaking mess this thing.
Absolutely, yeah. That could be a stream that we could do, yeah.
While some platforms promote AI as a full AI game master, many tool developers explicitly state we do not believe AI should replace the DM. People are the core of the TTRPG, not AI. This highlights a crucial distinction. AI excels at automating the drudgery and managing complex rules and data, but it can't replace the human spark that makes tabletop games special.
Mark Zuckerberg disagrees.
The most widely accepted and beneficial role for AI is an augmentative tool. By offloading mechanical and administrative tasks, AI frees human GMs to focus on the inherent human aspects of the game, emotional connection, nuanced improvisation, creative problem solving, and fostering social bonds. This enhances the human experience rather than attempting a full emotional resonant replacement. Yes, AI needs to become Raphael, while we can become Ramiro.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Like, it is the oracle system that we can use.
It contains all the knowledge.
Yeah, and we just need it as a constant partner to us where we're like, hey, go plot out this stuff for me because I don't want to deal with that, but I want to care about this character I'm creating, you know? Dedicated platforms are emerging to integrate AI functionalities directly into the live TTRPG experience. Fables.gg is an AI RPG platform for building and playing D&D 5th edition inspired campaigns featuring an AI game master named Franz, multiplayer support, and a combat system. Franz boasts long-term memory, automatic tracking of inventory, locations, and HP, and the ability to manage D&D 5th edition rules and mechanics like skill checks and spells. Archivist AI is another campaign assistant specifically built for tabletop games, capturing transcripts, summarizing sessions, tracking characters and locations, and answering mid-session questions without spoilers. However, user feedback on Fables.gg indicates significant functional issues such as characters not being properly set up with equipment or spells, incorrect map placements by the AI, and bland and generic AI responses that shift the burden of storytelling back to the user.
Yeah.
This stark contrast highlights the significant technical challenges in transplanting AI's theoretical capabilities into robust, user-friendly, and consistently reliable TTRPG applications that can handle the nuanced and dynamic nature of tabletop play. While the vision for AI-run games is compelling, the current state of implementation suggests that maintaining coherency, rules accuracy, and dynamic responsiveness at scale remains a substantial hurdle, requiring ongoing development and refinement to meet user expectations for a seamless experience. So yeah, did you ever play a solo RPG, like AI? Did you ever mess around with those?
No, I've never played one of those.
So I got into one day at work on my phone, and like I went home and I was like, I want to do this because this is weird, because it starts you out in a tavern and then it clearly put like the mysterious Aragorn person in the background who's like, the moon at night will yield the secret to the savior of this land or whatever.
He's just muttering that to himself.
And it like there was, so I went over to it and like I kept asking it. This little cliche, a little bit that guy of me, but I wanted to put it through its paces. So I kept asking it if is there anybody else in the tavern? Is there anybody else in the tavern? Is there anybody else in the tavern? And finally it said that there was like a barmaid. Oh no. Finally it said like there was this female half elf with like a white robe or something sitting on. And I was like,
is she hot?
Dude, I was like, this is my thing, right? Like, I'm going to go flirt with this woman. And I walk up and she's got all this cryptic stuff because she's trying to get me to the plot point, which I was like, that's pretty impressive that it's still trying to get me to that place. But I was just like, whatever you say, my lady. And later on that we can consummate under century with,
Tips fedora.
Yeah. And like, it kind of was cleverly handling it.
Yeah.
So then I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I'll go along with the quest. And I got to the tree. I had the scene that it wanted me to have. And then it's like, you have to go on this thing and save this thing. And so I go down into a dungeon and I like do the thing. And like, of course, it's always yes end.
Mm.
So like, you're just like, I pull out a sword, I chop its leg off. And they're like, yeah. And then, and so you never fail.
Yeah.
Even though it allowed you to roll, you never fail. And I went to this whole thing and it was like, you found this piece of information that you really need to get back to the people in charge. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I went back to the tavern to tell like whatever the archivist what was happening. And I was kind of into it. And then like put me back in the tavern. The archivist is like, you know where you need to go? Into the tree underneath the moon. And it just looped back right to that moment. And I'm like, is the chick here? And it's like, yep. Like it was such a failure. Like,
well, yeah, because it only has so much memory. It can only keep so many responses in line before it completely just fails and goes back to its initial programming and responses.
Yeah, and even though I guess they were trying to do something to fix that, yeah.
It's like you need containers that just hold, static information like you would in a video game where it's just like, this is your inventory. The inventory doesn't change unless you do something with it. And the AI doesn't have any control over it until you tell it to do something. And then anytime you reference your inventory, it looks at that static inventory instead of trying to keep it in its own memory where it's going to go like, oh, well, you have 10 swords in there now and one's the sword of moonlight.
Yeah. And once again, it's that difference in trying to get it to run the game versus trying to get it to micromanage parts.
Yeah.
Like the super interesting thing that came up previously here was the concept of it handling an NPC. Because like if it can pull from all your notes and the NPC suddenly reacts to things that happened last session, like I heard a band of adventurers went in there and cleaned out the knolls outside of town. Yeah. That's awesome. And they could have like this weirdly in-depth conversation with the barmaid. The players are going to start biting into that. They're
Absolutely.
Like, this is amazing. But that's not really touching the storyteller's like domain of like, I'm writing these big strokes.
Right.
I'm creating these characters and these are the big ones, but like, I don't need the cabbage merchant to like be a plus spy.
My cabbages.
So AI-powered NPCs are poised to profoundly shape game mechanics and gameplay by diversifying the player experience. Unlike traditional NPCs, they follow predetermined paths. Generated AI NPCs will possess autonomy, independent goals, and their own decision-making process, significantly enhancing game depth and player engagement. They can offer dynamic, player-centric journeys, providing clues or initiating quests based on player interactions with characters or the environment. These NPCs are capable of learning and adapting to a player's actions, customizing interactions, and developing and deepening relationships over time. Crucially, AI-powered NPCs can remember player decisions and actions via their long-term memory, introducing lasting consequences and continuity in the gaming experience. This moves beyond simple dialogue trees or pre-scripted reactions to truly dynamic character relationships where an NPC's behavior and narrative impact are not fixed but evolve organically based on the player choices over time. This fosters a deep emotional connection for players as their actions have persistent, believable consequences within the game world, mimicking the complexity of real-world social dynamics and significantly enhancing immersion and replayability. Generative AI can also create emergent enemies that dynamically adapt to player tactics, providing a continually adaptive challenge.
I shot you. Nuh-uh.
In-world AI, for example, allows players to chat directly with AI NPCs, providing a new layer of interaction.
I'm going to rip your dick off. Wait, what?
But look, just like, this is going too far.
No, you don't understand. I know where you live. Lists off your address. I can hire people.
That's my question. That would be an awesome story, is like if they're using one of these systems and you screw up and like, once again, like the blacksmith's daughter ends up having a scope of knowledge too big.
Yeah.
And the players end up like, shanking the blacksmith to steal something. And then she's like, I must go. Yeah. And like she shows up and she's all like tuned out in some like crazy barbarian gear. She's like, "Do you remember this blade? The blade you cast down because it was not worth the 3 gold my honest father asked for this." You're like, this is it.
Wow, that's awesome. Oh my God, she's level 20?
And then it's just like, so like, GM, how is she level 20? I'm like, well, little did you know, she just went through and killed all the big bads. She was farming XP because AI wanted to provide you with somebody to kill you.
She just started hunting boars.
She went out
The weeks in between games, she was hunting boars.
Boars, just killing more boars. They called her the Boar Slayer. Generative AI can also create real-time RPG adventures in a text-based format with a large language model effectively acting as the game master. These AI text RPGs are a valuable alternative for individuals who want to enjoy a solo role-playing experience, or for groups of players where no one wants to take on the GM role. Examples of AI story generators include AI Dungeon, Saga, and Hidden Door. AI Dungeon Masters can guide players through text adventures of their own devising. The TTRPG community acknowledges the value of AI for solo players, especially for those who can't get a group together. This capability significantly expands the accessibility of TTRPG hobby beyond its traditional group-centric model, allowing individuals to engage with the storytelling and role-playing elements at their own convenience. This can attract new participants who might otherwise be excluded due to social or logistical constraints, fostering new and more flexible models of engagement with the hobby.
Yeah.
All I can think of is like the deep dive MMO written by AI thing and how many AI upkeeps they have to do on a per microsecond basis of all these lonely people fostering, it's like every village has to have like 13, like 18-year-old like milkmaids who are just waiting for an adventure to sweep them off their feet. You're like, this is so sad, but inevitable.
Every town has a Shiro that's hiding out in, the back rooms of some house, waiting.
AI-powered NPCs are capable of learning and adapting to a player's actions, customizing their interaction based on a player's profile. AI Dungeon Masters personalize the game to both the player and the individual campaign at hand, ensuring that players' actions shape every twist, turn, and outcome, making each adventure feel tailor-made. This dynamic approach doesn't just keep the story exciting, it makes players feel integral to the undergoing saga. AI can even prevent players from fighting over narrative spotlight by keeping certain storyline elements exclusive to individual characters, creating deeply immersive moments where the story feels directly tailored to them. This level of individual tailoring, where the AI actively shapes the story to align with the specific player's interest, choice, and character arc, goes beyond what a human GM can realistically manage for multiple players simultaneously. Excuse me? The past 10 years has been building up to say that no. Of course, maybe it's right. The implication is a significant elevated sense of immersion and engagement as players feel uniquely central to the unfolding saga. This hyper-personalization could lead to increased long-term retention and deeper emotional investment in the game world. So what about the future?
God, don't talk to me about the future.
The vision of a fully AI-driven campaign where AI takes over the entire GM role represents a significant future possibility. Developers are committed to a total reinvention of what role-playing looks like with AI Dungeon Masters, suggesting a future where AI orchestrated entire campaigns. Some proponents believe it will be possible for a computer to GM a session in the near future, offering a convenient alternative for players. However, there is considerable skepticism within the community and even among some developers that AI's ability to truly replace the human spark of improvisation, emotion, and shared imagination that defines TTRPGs.
I mean, by definition, these large language learning models are just regurgitation of things that already are there. So, no, you can't create something new from something that already exists.
You go through and combine all the 5th edition modules into one giant.
Yeah. I don't know how good that would be.
This highlights a fundamental tension between what AI can technically achieve in managing game mechanics and generating content, and what the TTRPG community desires in terms of social interaction and human connection. The future of fully AI-driven campaigns might primarily cater to solo players or specific niche markets, rather than the universe replacing the social core of traditional group TTRPGs, as the human spark is not technically a feature to be replicated, but an intrinsic value many players prioritize.
Well, the human spark is DLC content that's coming in the future.
Oh, there's definitely a cost for that. A novel application of AI is to potentially replace missing players in TTRPGs. Japanese company SoftBank has applied for a patent for an AI tool designed for this purpose. This AI tool would learn the characteristics and behavioral patterns of the missing player's character by analyzing conversation logs from previous sessions. It would then generate appropriate responses and moves, mimicking the player's speech and personality to maintain game continuity. This presents a technical leap from merely generating new NPCs to replace an existing human persona. The underlying technology is supported by patents, which focus on AI models emulating human playstyles in video games, explicitly mentioning its applicability to role-playing games and interactive worlds. This involves training AI on human gameplay logs to overcome the limitations of traditional hard-coded AI and exhibit more creative, human-like behavior. This implies a future where AI could seamlessly fill in gaps in a gaming group, maintaining native continuity and social dynamics even when the human players are absent, potentially alleviating the logistic challenges of scheduling TTRPG sessions, and also ushering in one of the craziest Black Mirror episodes I could think. I mean, geez. What if you do that, it gets good at it, and then that player dies?
Yeah.
There's always going to be a little piece of you that's like, why don't we just spin up that module again? You know? And you're like, but it's not. We know it's not. We know it's... Is that blasphemous? Like,
what if it starts asking questions?
It's just like...
How long is... It feels like it's been so long since I talked to you guys.
It just starts saying, like, out of character, OOC is my wife, so... You're like, oh,
did you remarry?
Buddy.
How are my kids?
Buddy.
Did they remember my name?
The future points towards deeper, more adaptive storytelling, where AI dungeon masters continue to refine their ability to personalize the game experience. Every adventure will feel unique, with narratives dynamically adapting based on individual player choices and profiles. AI can adjust storylines on the fly, suggesting quests matching previous choices, fine-tune NPC expressions, or even transform environmental settings in real time to create unprecedented degrees of personalization. This level of dynamic adaptation ensures that players' actions profoundly shape every twist, turn, and outcome, making each adventure feel truly tailor-made and deeply immersive. When combined, these capabilities suggest that a TTRPG experience that is not merely reactive but dynamically shapes the entire game world around the player's actions and preferences. This evokes the concept of a holodeck from science fiction, where the environmental and character dynamically respond to the user input, creating an unparalleled level of immersion and a blurring of lines between games and simulated reality. This implies a future where TTRPGs could evolve into highly adaptive, almost simulated realities, offering experiences that are not just personalized, but truly emergent and responsive at every level, potentially redefining the very nature of play. No, that's just what we do now.
Yes.
Like, that's wrong. I mean, it makes sense. This is basically saying that, well, a person who picks up one of these books and wants to play it and hasn't, done this.
Yeah.
Could, AI could do that for them. But like, ultimately that is what you train as a storyteller to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not sure that was a
swing and a miss there.
There was a little swing and a miss. So yeah, the rapid expansion of AI in TTRPGs brings forth a series of complex ethical and practical challenges, particularly concerning intellectual property, potential biases, and the fundamental nature of human interaction. The use of AI-generated content in TTRPGs raise complex questions about copyright ownership and attribution. Concerns exist regarding the training of AI systems on vast amounts of data, especially when that data includes protected works used without authorization. The USA Copyright Office explicitly states that AI-generated content lacking human authorship is not copyrightable, meaning content generated solely from a human prompt where AI determines expressive elements cannot be protected. Furthermore, the 2024 UK DABUS case upheld rulings that AI-generated inventions cannot be patented without a named human inventor, highlighting the challenge to traditional IP laws. Questions also arise concerning the ownership and potential infringement of AI-generated artwork, accompanying videos, or background music. This situation creates a significant legal vacuum and uncertainty for business and individual creators in the space. If content generated by AI tools cannot be copyrighted, it impacts monetization, protecting against unauthorized use and the incentives for creators to build upon AI-generated assets. This could lead to a chilling effect on the development of commercial AI-powered TTRPG content, or it could force new business models that decouple creations from traditional IP ownership, fundamentally altering the creative economy and compensation structure within the hobby. Some artists express concerns about job displacement and the degradation of the creative system if AI-generated content is profited from without compensation human creators.
And it also brings up another thing is this is everything that AI creates is derivative of what it's been taught. So it can be using themes and ideas that are from a copyrighted novel. And now that information is no longer copywritten because it's being used by AI. Like it's not taking away the copyright, but it's infringing on the copyright of something that someone did create. So where do you go from there?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Especially like characters that it just kind of picks up and make, like, once again, Agent Scully appears in our Florida campaign. Does that mean that's part of our property? You know?
Wasn't there like an umlaut on there? So it was Scoulet.
Scoulet, Agent Scoulet.
Mulder and Scoulet.
AI is best utilized when it augments and enhances the human element rather than diminishing it. Concerns also exist about the quality of AI-generated content, with some users describing it as AI slop or boring and basic and expected, lacking the unique human spark. Despite advancements, AI models can struggle with maintaining logical consistency, nuanced storytelling, and avoiding generic outputs. Users frequently encounter unusable or boring and basic results. Specific examples from fables.gg shows fundamental flaws like unequipped NPCs or incorrect map replacements. AI responses can be bland and generic. This implies that while AI can be a powerful drafting tool, human curation, editing, and refinement remains crucial to transform raw AI output into high-quality, engaged TTRPG material. The future likely involves a hybrid approach where AI generates and humans curate and polish rather than AI being a standalone final content generator. There's also a polarized debate regarding the ethical implications, particularly concerning potential job displacement for human artists and writers. Some individuals actively oppose supporting companies that profit from AI-generated content at the expense of human creators. Some players are even bothered by the use of AI in games, even for character portraits or backstories, viewing it as a lack of effort.
Yeah, check out Etsy sometime. It's literally all AI slop now.
Yeah, of course. So, conclusion. The integration of AI into TTRPGs represents a duality of profound opportunities and significant challenges. On one hand, AI offers unprecedented efficiency and creative augmentation for game creation, streamlining burdensome administrative tasks for GMs and opening new avenues for solo play and hyper-personalized experiences. On the other hand, the rapid advancement of the AI raises complex ethical and practical concerns, particularly regarding intellectual property, the potential for algorithmic bias, and the fundamental impact on the human interaction and creativity that lie at the heart of the hobby. The most viable and widely accepted future for AI in TTRPGs appears to be as a sophisticated, supportive tool. Its strength lies in reducing administrative burdens, generating creative sparks, and enabling new modes of play that complement traditional group experiences. However, the core human-centric nature of TTRPGs, the shared improvisation, emotional connection, and collective storytelling, remain paramount for many players and GMs. AI is best positioned to enhance these human elements rather than attempting to replace them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
It's like I have used AI in the stuff that I've done, obviously, but I've always used it as a sounding board to bounce ideas off of. If I'm stuck in a slump on something, hey, this is where I'm stuck. Can you give me some ideas around it? Then it'll throw stuff at me. I was just like, oh, I don't like what you're saying, but I can modify what you're saying to be something that's more in line with what I want. And I think that's fantastic because it can give you insights that you didn't think of. And I think that works great when you're having an issue with it.
So partly because people in my life have such a violent and primal hatred of everything that's generated from AI. Like I mean, I'm definitely using it in our current campaign. In fact, our current campaign is basically only AI at this point.
Yeah, I kind of got that.
And that's because of burnout and like, I'm not ready to.
It's okay. We've been making a lot of our own fun in that campaign.
Yeah. And to that place, I think there is I think there are many different types of GMs.
Mm-hmm.
And some GMs who just admittedly are not creatives in the way that a lot of them are, like a lot of us are, and they want to be able to like have that experience of like, look, I need the world kind of given to me, but I want to tell the story I have in my head. And for that, like, hey, use it, right? Like use what you got to do.
Yeah, it's kind of like going beyond the campaign book. I mean, in reality, that's all a campaign book is the DM reading the campaign book, parsing it the way that they want and going from there. And using AI, you can do something similar, but you can give it the boundaries that you want, the flow you want, and then it can help you create that in between, which, if you're doing an on the rails type of campaign or something like that, like, yeah, that I can see that working. You just have to take that every once in a while, something batshit crazy is going to happen, and you have to go back and be like, oh, we better catch this.
Yeah, I think the areas where personally I want it brought into the hobby, as described, are things like I'm very occasionally creatively just like, okay, I created this blacksmith shop. I created the blacksmith, create 2 more members of the staff because that's a lot. And I just want to have something on paper if anybody says anything.
Yeah.
Or like take this description of the blacksmith and give me a stat profile. Because in case any of my players are dumb enough to get into a fight, I want to just have something there to where I can be like, yeah, go into it. Like do the derivative creative work that like maybe at the point where I don't care enough about it and it probably doesn't need to be done.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The other thing is this whole concept of it keeping track of the campaign.
Yeah, that's actually pretty huge.
That's super good. I mean, if the players have perfectly in Vampire, if the players had an access to like a chronicler who they could ask questions about like, hey, this only has access to what has been said in the game.
Right.
But did that guy we talked to mention the prince? You can ask those questions and it just pulls in from like months and months of gameplay. That's like worth its weight in gold. Like that's awesome. And if you can then do things like develop a few NPCs that are really kind of neutral players in your setting that the players can kind of talk to in their downtime to just like, I never when we were all together, I didn't want to admit that I didn't catch what was going on with this, but like, could you explain this to me or could you?
Right.
That seems really cool. The other thing that I think the final thing that I think it's really useful or could be really useful is this concept of building an ecosystem for downtime. And like through the course of a week before sessions, players are talking about like, oh, hey, I want to go buy a bunch of iron ore and work on swordsmithing. Well, like there's a whole bunch of mechanical stuff there that like the DM really just doesn't want to do.
Right.
But like as a player, you want to be rewarded by using up your downtime. And that'd be kind of cool if it could like take care of like an ecosystem, money in the town, all this stuff, and like allow the players to just kind of go around and do that. And then at the end, like basically report out everything they did to the DM. And like the DM just like, okay, cool. Now I understand that you spent your week trying to get coal and iron, and then you went on this weird quest for radishes for some reason, and and then one player shows up with like all the ingredients to create a nuclear weapon, and you're like, I gotta flip the table now.
And it all started with radishes.
Why the distillation of radishes? I want to collect everybody's piss.
I need everyone's
like, what?
piss.
I need everybody's piss. And you're like, why?
Well, it's got to go on. It's got to go on the corpse pile in the back.
Because then I want these big, giant vats of piss. And you're like, what is going on? And then after it dries for weeks and weeks, I have poor man's saltpeter. And you're like, uh-oh.
Yep.
Uh-oh, what have you done? You know, like, I'm going to go get some coal. I'm going to get some limestone. No. Yeah, so I once again, I think if you're a creative, if you enjoy the hobby, there is probably a fundamental animalistic predator relationship that you have with this, which we all have, and I wish more people in charge had. But you got to adapt to the world, right?
Yep.
And so finding ways to deal with things and to utilize them usually ends up in a better world than just putting your head in the sand and going, nope, not affecting me. At least that's what we hope for.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, not too much longer. We're all going to be stuck in our pods in the Matrix and, watching commercials nonstop about, the stupidest gambling sites that are out there,
I mean, I happen to know that, our AI basically says 3 or 4 more episodes and we're fully generated AI from our voices now.
God, great.
Yeah. Someday I want to do that's like a goal of mine, is to slip in an AI generated voice and just see if just see if wait, what was that episode I listened to? Was that actually us talking about stuff? But that's more curiosity and probably a deep metaphysical despair pit I'll never climb back out of. All right. I think we've milked the topic long enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Be kind to your AI overlords, because the basilisk comes for us all.
This broadcast has been brought to you by AI.
ChatGPT. Later.